Look at that thumbnail. A government check burning. It's provocative, I know. But what if I told you that the shiny promise of universal basic income, free money for everyone forever, isn't the path to freedom? What if I told you it's actually the most sophisticated economic trap ever devised to ensure you never truly own anything? Everyone is talking about UBI right now because everyone is terrified of AI. The robots are coming for our jobs, so the elites say, "Don't worry, here's a monthly allowance to keep you quiet." It sounds compassionate. It sounds inevitable. But there is a massive mathematical lie sitting at the heart of UBI that nobody wants to discuss. The fundamental problem is that wealth is not money. Wealth is goods, services, and assets. If we magically printed $1 million for every person on Earth tomorrow, nobody would be richer. We just have hyperinflation. If everyone has an extra $1,000 a month, guess what happens to rent? It goes up by $1,000. UBI doesn't solve the supply side. It pumps demand without increasing the amount of stuff available to buy. It's chasing more goods with the same amount of money. And history tells us exactly where that leads. Massive currency devaluation that hurts the poorest people the most. But the math isn't even the scariest part. The scariest part is the power dynamic. If your entire livelihood depends on a monthly deposit from the central government, you are not a free citizen. You are a dependent. What happens if you dissent? What happens if your social credit score drops? Does the deposit stop? This is why I call it the trap. UBI is a reboot of feudalism for the digital age. The AI overlords own the land, which is now data centers and algorithms. And we are the serfs getting just enough grain to survive, but never enough land to become lords ourselves. The people pushing UBI know that AI is about to generate unimaginable wealth. They want to ensure that wealth concentrates at the very top, while the rest of us are pacified with a subscription service for existence. They don't want you to be a producer. They want you to be purely a consumer. True economic freedom doesn't come from income. It comes from assets. It comes from owning things that generate value while you sleep. UBI gives you a fish every day, but it actively prevents you from ever owning the fishing rod, the boat, or the lake. So if printing cash and handing it out is a mathematically doomed road to serfdom, what do we do when AI actually does displace human labor? We need a totally different paradigm. We need to shift our focus from universal basic income to universal basic ownership. Think about the wealthiest people in the world. They don't have high salaries, they have high equity. They own stocks, real estate, intellectual property, and now digital assets. When the economy grows, their slice of the pie grows automatically. In an AI-driven future, labor becomes less valuable and capital, the machinery and intelligence that creates things, becomes infinitely more valuable. If you only have labor to sell, you are in trouble. You need to own a piece of the machine. The solution isn't to tax the machine owners and give you pennies. The solution is to make you a machine owner. We need mechanisms that distribute equity in the automated future, not just currency. This brings me to the most exciting contrarian idea to replace UBI. It's called UBC, Universal Basic Compute. In the 21st century, compute power, processing power, GPUs, access to AI models, is the new oil. It is the raw material of production. Instead of the government giving you $1,000 a month, imagine if every citizen was guaranteed a monthly allocation of high-end AI processing power, a sovereign slice of the global compute infrastructure. Why is this better than cash? Because you can't print more compute power out of thin air. It has real-world value. But more importantly, compute is a tool of creation. Cash is just for consumption. With universal basic compute, you could use your allocation to train a personalized AI agent to manage your life. You could pool your compute with your neighborhood to solve local problems. You could use it to design products, write code, or create art. UBC turns everyone into a potential entrepreneur and a creator in the digital economy. It gives you the means of production. UBI just keeps you alive. UBC gives you the tools to thrive and build wealth in the new era. Furthermore, if you don't want to use your compute allocation, you could rent it out to the highest bidder on a decentralized market. It becomes a cash-generating asset that you own, not a handout subject to political whims. We are standing at the greatest economic crossroads in human history. Down one path is UBI, a permanent, inflationary underclass subsisting on government crumbs while AI trillionaires run the world. Down the other path is asset ownership and universal basic compute, a future where the immense bounty of AI is shared by giving everyone a stake in the infrastructure itself. A nation of owners, not dependents. The math of UBI doesn't work because it ignores the reality of production and power. Don't fall for the trap of easy money. Demand the tools to build your own future. If you want to explore more dangerous ideas about the future of economics and technology that the mainstream media won't touch, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. We need to wake people up before the trap snaps shut. Thanks for watching. Share this video with someone who thinks UBI is a good idea. It's time to change the conversation. I'll see you in the next one.